Hi guys, it's Mrs. Mayer again. Just wanted to go over some multiplication strategies with all of you, and I want you to notice that this is multiplication, or these are multiplication strategies specifically for double digit by double digit multiplication. I am going to zoom in to just one at a time. I'm going to try to go quickly, but make sure that you understand what I'm trying to get to. So the first way, which is what a lot of us know, specifically your parents and we grew up doing standard algorithm. So what I want you to notice with standard algorithm, that means that we take the ones times the ones, we write down that answer. Then we move over to the ones times the tens, and then let me hold up real quick. We do the ones times the ones. We put down the ones, like the ones answer. So if 8 times 7 is 56, we put down the ones place, which is 6. We carry the 5, okay? Then we need to do ones times the tens. So we do ones times 10. 7 times 5 is 35. But we have to add in that 5 that was there. So 7 times 5 plus 5 is 40. And we write that complete answer down because we completely did the ones times everything, okay? Now, very important step is we have to add that magic 0. I've told you guys this time and time again. I'm sure you'll not forget it. But what we have to remember is I'm going to tell you that we do 1 times 8, but we're not really just doing 1 times 8. We're really doing 10 times 8. So that's why we always put in that magic 0. So we do 1 times 8, which is 8, and we write that down. We don't have anything to carry. Then over here, so that was our tens times our ones now. Now we have to do our tens times our tens. So our tens times our tens is 1 times 5, but really it's 10 times 50. So 1 times 5 is 5, so I write that down, and then you add these two answers up, and your total should be 986. When we go to the next one, lattice, and this one is kind of crazy for some of us, but basically with lattice, you make a square and you split it into fourths at first, and then you kind of make these diagonal lines. And what you'll notice is that you make sure that you put a digit at each of the boxes, okay? So a 5 and an 8, and a 1 and a 7. So first I do 1, this is 1 times 8. So notice, if it has 0 in the answer, I have to put the 0 here and then put the 8 here. Okay, then I do 8 times 7, which is 56. Okay, then I come over here, I do 1 times 5. Again, this is going to be less than 10, so that means I have to put a 0 and then put the 5 here. And then last but not least, I do 7 times 5, so this is 7 times 5, which gives me 35. And then you'll notice I add these all up. So 6 plus nothing is 6. 8 plus 5 plus 5 is 18. This is one you really have to pay attention to. This is 18. That's why I have a little 1 carried here. And then I have to do 5 plus 3, which is 8, plus 1 is 9. Okay? And again, what I want you guys to get out of this is that I want you to use any strategies that work for you, but I want to go through them just in case there's some that work better for you. So for partial products is going to be very similar to our area model. That's where we just break it down. We break the standard algorithm into these partial products. So you'll see I do the ones times the ones, I do the ones times the tens, I do the tens times the ones, and the tens times the tens. Okay, so it's very similar to standard algorithm, but I do it one step at a time. Now, something that's kind of interesting is when we get to two partial products. When we get to two partial products, that's when it's a little bit different. But a lot of people like to use two partial products because you can see that it's a little bit easier. You choose which number you're going to break apart, okay? I chose to break apart the 17. So what I mean by that is I have to multiply by 58 each time. So I broke the 17 into 10 and 7 because we can easily do 2 by 1 digit multiplication, okay? 58 times 7. If I were you, I would just do it off to the side. I did it off to the side on a piece of paper. I probably should have done it on here to show you. But I just do 58 times 7 off to the side. It's 406. And then you'll notice that, like I tell you guys all the time, 58 times 10 is really 58 times 1, and you just add that 0 to it. I also put a little note in there. Here is why we use pencil in math, because, well, I accidentally wrote 50 times 10 instead of 58, and then that totally changed this answer and both of those answers. But overall, I realized my mistake and could go forward with it. There's two other ways I want to show you real quick. So the next one is the area model. This is very, very popular in our classroom because a lot of students really see how we split it up. So we split the numbers up into their place values, meaning we split it up into their tens and then their ones and their tens and their ones. So then we do 50 times 7, 8 times 7, 50 times 10, 8 times 10, and then what we do is we add them up over here. And the reason we call it the area model is because we want to imagine that this rectangle is a 50 by 7 rectangle. This rectangle is an 8 by 7 rectangle. This is a 10 by 50 rectangle. And last but not least, this is an 8 by 10 rectangle. So that's why it's called the area model. The last way is something I actually saw when I was looking online for some other methods, which some of you might like doing this. This method is very similar to partial products. It just physically shows you how we break it apart. So it just shows you that we break the 58 into its place values, into the 50 and into the 8. And then we break the 17 into the 10 and into the 7. And then we just make sure that we multiply all of those. So for example, I do 50 times 10 and then 50 times 7. Okay, after I do that, I make sure I do 8 times 7 and then 8 times 10. Everything was multiplied together. And again, once I multiply, I put the answers here and I add them up. Again, what you should see is that all of these answers, no matter what, equal 986. So what I'm trying to show you guys is that whatever method you choose, any of these 6 methods, and even if there's another method out there that you use, I'm okay with it. I'm not picky. I just want you to do what works best for you and helps you understand math the best way. Thank you.